Hello, my Teaserking family. Boy, do we have news on gold and silver today. Oh my God. Absolutely. Um, big news. I'm going to wait till some of the boys come on before I get into that. I'm going to play some videos. So we will have all that, but just tremendous news on silver today. And I know how some of my guys, like Bobby, are worried about it. Nothing to worry about. They're going to price silver in gold. As gold goes through the roof, silver goes through the roof. So right after this show, I'm running to buy another 20, maybe 40 ounces of silver. This is where, yes, I have 400, but then you go, it's about to go to the moon. What's another? It's $28. It's $28 an ounce. 10 ounces is $284. 20 is what, 560. It's a no-brainer. I don't know why my hair's like this. It's a no-brainer. I mean, you're gonna buy 20 ounces gold or silver for $560. That'll be worth $2,000 an ounce very, very soon. We thought it would be longer. We didn't know when, but it's Russia because Russia's getting screwed by the U.S. sanctions. They are now coming and creating their own gold, physical gold market. And we talked a lot about monopolies yesterday, where basically that's what gold was, stuck in a monopoly. Excuse me. Forcing the gold price down, not to market, right? So the monopoly's in, the market's here, the price is here. That's broke by Russia's physical, and it's starting to take place where the dollar, the price is going to demand. The demand's huge because the prices are so low and all the inflation. Everybody's running to buy gold before they run out of money. And then here we go with silver now being priced in gold. And I'll play that shortly. Let's go through football first, and then we're going to go through, then we'll go through gold. Very interesting. All right, so first we'll look at the pros. We'll look at the NFL. We got Philadelphia 2.5, 46.5. That hasn't moved. I'm back to a 1.5 on Kansas City, 48. So that shows you Mahomes is going to play. But if you think he's 100% healthy, you're out of your freaking mind. Let's go into the other lines. 2.5s. They're all two. There's 1 3. There's 2 3s on the Philly game, and the rest are 2.5s. The total is 46, 46.5. That's it. We're in at 46.5. Let's go to the KC game. Now, here we see a couple of 1.5. So 1.5, 1, 2.5, ones. So mostly ones, 1.5. Let's go to the total. 48, 47.5, 48, 47.5. So, okay, Mahomes playing with the hurt foot. So he's not 100%. He's not going to be 100%. And after halftime, he's fucked. So that's that. We've talked about it again. I got Frisco 20-17. Now I'm going to adjust my Cincinnati KC to 31-20. Let's call it that. 31-20 Cincinnati over KC. They're not going to stop Burrow, Chase, Mixon. It's not going to happen. And then you got Mahomes, he'll get his little bit. But again, the way they held Buffalo down, I don't think Cincinnati's going to, or Kansas City's going to light them up if Buffalo couldn't. So I don't know what to think of that. But that's my play. The free plays, take Cincinnati in 7.5. That's a joke. And, and again, Philly Frisco, I like take the dog or under. Either way, I went under. Dallas Frisco game, like the Dallas, like the Baltimore Cincinnati game. Two strong defenses, you're going to have an under. All right, let's get to quickly cover the events I'm seeing. All right. These trades, scooping up papers. Converting it to physical. They know this game. They're savvy buyers. What is most important to understand is that increasingly silver, along with all commodities, is going to be priced in gold grams. This is a huge risk for the old guard 100 to 1 so-called professional trade, who by the LBMA's own admission relies on this highly leveraged paper netting out structure, which involves traded physical. So very short. So what it's saying is they're now going to price silver not in money and in gold. So as gold goes up, silver goes up. Right now, silver is 84 to 1 for gold. The normal silver price for gold is about 8 to 1. It's so out of whack, and they're purposely keeping it down to down to $24 an ounce on the derivatives, on the monopoly, on the paper. So we're going to go back, and I'm going to share this video with you. I'm going to share one other video with you in a minute. I just want to wait for a few more people to come on before I start with that. But it basically, you have, as we talked yesterday about monopolies, so you've had this gold monopoly by JP Morgan in London, basically dictating the gold, because, well, gold doesn't go up, or, well, I know JP Morgan keeps it down and has a monopoly and won't let the price go up, so why would I invest in gold? It's not going to go up. Well, Russia and China and India have been taking advantage, buying gold at this cheap price. And now with the war and with this, the China collapse of their real estate market in India, their rupees are going, they're like 82 to 1. And that's what Pakistan was. And they went bankrupt. So India's going bankrupt. So they all have a lot of gold and they all need it to go up. And they're coming out with their own physical market, which has never been. It's always been this paper derivative market, which makes me scream watching these idiots on YouTube talk about, well, in 2008, in the derivative market, it did this. And now here comes another recession. It's 2023. So therefore, the derivative market will do that. And it's the paper bullshit market, so you can't analyze it. But since it's going to physical, where it's going to, if you own an ounce of gold, this is what the real price is going to be. Once we get to that, we get off the monopoly, as we talked yesterday with Bobby and Phil specifically, and we know we break the monopoly into competition. That's what we're doing. The LPMA and JP Morgan have a monopoly. They sell all this derivative to keep the price down. But it's breaking, and all this COMEX, all the gold that they had and silver is bought. It's already taken, so there's nothing left. The ETFs don't have anything. The ETF is an illusion. It's bullshit. You don't have any gold. You just have whatever that fucking ETF is. I've never found it to be too good or make any money on it. It's always fixed, so it's bullshit. Anyway, so what Russia's doing is a physical market going to gold and silver will go through the roof as of now with this thing. So everybody's going, when? Well, here's your answer. So I'm going to give you this. I'll put it on. I'll stop you back to the beginning. I want to keep it near the beginning so you can watch it. So without further delay, let me get you. This is my gold guy in the UK. There's two guys. This is who you listen to, not the other idiots on YouTube. So let me give you this.
Just one or more of a wide range of commodities. Obviously, it has a monetary side, but there's a commodity side. But probably the most undervalued of all commodities, which I think nobody even ever disputes that. So what's going to happen is silver will be increasingly benchmarked to physical gold grams. This is a huge deal. The resulting de-dollarizing of the largely netted out cash settled LBMA silver fix undermines the so-called professional silver trade, exposing the extremely vulnerable 100-to-1 cash settled market to become physically deliverable, priced in gold grams. Think about that, guys. That is a change in how you price a commodity. This has drawn unwanted attention to the paper-centric gold-silver ratio. Now, people who don't know about it, there is a ratio between gold and silver, and obviously a lot of traders understand what that is. But essentially, what it illustrates is the difference, the leverage in how much silver it takes to buy a gram of gold. And this week, really taking advantage of the thin conditions while China is absent due to the lunar holiday, insiders desperately capping silver and options derivative bets ever closing above 24 on recording this on Wednesday, and tomorrow's Thursday, and that's options expiry. So what they did was they've been capping 24, desperate to keep this level from closing on Thursday. Now, they managed to walk spot silver almost $1, when in fact a $4 down to tag $23. I mean, this is ludicrous. It's similar. This is massive Indian silver demand. And what they were doing was simply targeting, old game here, targeting visible CTA longs to have on their books at very obvious 50-day moving average. We know that these big moving averages always hold stocks, whether it's on the upside or the downside. They targeted them at any cost. And the CTA long stocks at the 50 were, of course, we said, you know what, because I think they're going to just be two-way routes. And sure enough, because it drove the ratio trade, the number of grams or ounces it takes to buy an ounce, grams or ounce of gold to actionable extremes. So obviously, because you're looking at the way, a difference in how silver is going to be valued in gold grams. Now, the obvious game to test and two-way flush of this 50-day moving average, it put silver about 90 cents below the very strong option support, which is around 23.5.
I'll explain what he's talking about.
That we see it gaining around that level now. However, liquidity providers reported that insiders were pushing the ratio trade envelope to extremes as gold rose into these fresh gold highs, which we've seen again and again, day after day. We're seeing fresh gold highs. This indicates it's the momentum CTA specs who are being tricked into taking the short load, and the insiders are 1-to-1 long against it. So while very short term, utilizing momentum from the led by those specs, the group of maybe short traders may get further wrong footing into options game very short term. Selling silver into a very strong gold market is driving the connected ratio trade to extremes that liquidity providers assess will force commercials to take the long side of silver above 80-1. Well, it's above that right now. In the attempt to keep paper silver from closing above 24 on Thursday, the ratio trade was driven as high as 84-1. I mean, that's ludicrous. Range of commodities, obviously it has a monetary side, but it's above that right now. In the attempt to keep silver from closing.
All right, so what he's saying is the paper, which is the which is the price fixed. All right, so what he's saying is that the paper is the monopoly, and they're breaking the monopoly into a physical auction, free market, which you can believe from Russia, free market where the physical price of gold will go to where it should be, not the silver at 24. He's saying it's ridiculous. 88 to 1. What that means is the normal price of silver to gold is 8 to 1, not 88 to 1. So it's got a lot. It's going to run and run and run. I'm going to go out buy 20 ounces as soon as we're done here of silver at still this $28. Well, let's make sure what it's at. This $28 price, but it's going to go really high really soon. Anyway, so it's great news for us who've been buying gold and silver, who really want it to go up, to go to normal prices, as well as the dollar getting crushed and losing all its value. This is really going to make the dollar lose value. Then he's talking how a lot of countries are getting out. So let's see, gold is gold's about even for the day. Let's see what silver. Gold's 1930. Silver still 23.54. So I'm going to go buy it cheap, which will be nice. Anyway, so that's what he's talking about. So he's saying, look at the Russian physical. They're breaking the LPMA, JP Morgan monopoly with the Russians. That's what this news is. And it's going to make, if you're valuing silver and gold's going to go through the roof as it's been. Silver is way, he's saying it's so undervalued. So silver at 8 to 1 puts it at what? Probably 300, 400 an ounce. At 88 to 1, it's the $24. So they're keeping silver at 24 is manipulation. It's not real price. So what the question is can they keep manipulating, or are we going to get free market? And what Russia's doing is by putting this physical market exchange out there and wanting things in commodities, that's going to break the monopoly of the JP Morgan LPMA, which is basically JP Morgan in England. And we'll get rid of the price fixing, or like a game being fixed, and then off we go. And then that's going to trigger these really high gold prices and these really high silver prices. He did mention the demand for silver in India is high. Well, what have I explained in economics? The higher the demand, the higher the price, because you can sell it for more because you're not priced properly. So we want to get to equilibrium, right? We want to get, I'm going to sell Canadian Club for $50, and that's where my market is at $50. So if I sell it at 50, that's where I make the most amount. Well, in gold and silver, let's talk silver. The demand is here. How do we get to this? And the price is here. Well, this needs to come up to equal here. So demand is up here, makes price really get up to here. Well, price is $24. 28 if you buy the bullion, 35 if you buy the asset, but the demand is overpriced, right? So the price eventually needs to come here. So that means the price has to go all the way up to here, which I'm saying is about $1,000 to $2,000. And as the price goes up, the demand then goes way up, and that'll create that. So I think this is my barbecue guy. Just a second. So anyway, so what we're talking about is we don't want monopolies. We want competition, right? We want Burger King, Wendy's, and McDonald's. And then whoever makes the best at the best price, we buy, and it benefits us. Gold has been monopolized since Nixon took us off of it. It then's been monopolized by the evil J.P. Morgans and all his little cronies, and they've been convicted of it several times and paid fines, but they keep doing it because they're the ones in charge of the government, and they're in charge of the senators and governors. In Congress, the people that would, and Department of Justice, so the people that would bring them in to put them in jail and stop it are on their payroll. So it's all fixed. But here come the Russians and Chinese and Indians who have bought all this gold real cheap, who are now saying, okay, it's time we get to our price. We want the price to go up because we own all that, and we're sick and tired of being sanctioned and these high interest rates, and we don't like America and yada da da da. China likes America because we buy their goods. India likes us because we're going to start buying, because the goods are leaving China and going to India, and they're making it. And Russia basically hates us. So they want to take over us, and so does China. So they know dollar up is going to be a problem. So what you got is Russia develops, hey, if we do this physical gold market, we'll get to the real physical gold price. And that's not what JP Morgan wants, but he can't control Russia because you're already sanctioning them. There's a war going on with the Ukraine, which I think now it's starting to make sense what this whole thing's about, is Russia's testing the U.S. and they won't go to war now. They're not going to go to war over gold then. Where U.S. Said we're going to go to war if you announce your physical and you try to get it to a physical price, and you announce you have 15,000 tons, and China says we have 40,000 tons. They said, well, it's an act of war if you announce that. Well, there's an act of war going on with the Ukraine, and guess what? They're not doing anything about it. So therefore, there's no fear that if they do announce their gold and they do try to do this physical, that the U.S. is going to go to war, because they're not going to war now. So they're not going to go to war, obviously. So here comes Russia doing this physical, which then gets gold to its real price. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you. When there's a monopoly, normally it's higher prices. This is a weird monopoly that they're keeping the price of gold and silver down instead of normal. But this is the thing. Now, so if we go in, this is the video that you need to do for homework today. Number 107, Russia to price silver and gold grams. Okay, this is the newest one, live from the vault, Kinesis Network. It's about 40 minutes. You need to watch it. Now, the video I showed you before was roughly from another video he had done, about 8 minutes. So I just showed you the 4-minute one. And I think I showed you the 1-minute one. Yeah, the 1-minute one we started talking about. What's this? All right. So watch the 107 is the 40-minute video. This other one was the section of it about how they're pricing silver in gold, not in dollars. And that's perfectly fine. We want it in gold. The real value is 8 to 1. They're talking 88 to 1. So what happens when it goes from 88 to 1 to 8 to 1 if gold doesn't go down? So if gold goes up to 20,000, silver is going to be priced in gold will go up to 20,000 divided by 8, which is what, 2,500. That's your price of gold is 2,500 times 8 is 20,000. Yeah. So Now when gold goes to 50,000, then silver is going to be so it'll be 8,000 an ounce. This is why I have 400 ounces going, fuck, do I have enough? And I'm like, it's not a matter of if I have enough. It's a matter of it's so cheap and we know it's going to go up. All you're doing is you have this worthless depreciating dollar that's going to zero, and I can trade it for something that cost me $28. That's going to at least 2,000, probably 5,000, especially now that it's priced in gold. And we know gold's going up because everybody's fucking up their dollars because they're not backed by, there's no anchor on this. So it has to go up. This has to go to zero because you can't keep printing. If you keep printing, it's got to lose its value. As if, let's look at baseball cards. If you made a million 1989 Barry Sanders Pro Set cards and they have a $10 value. If you printed only 5 of them, they'd have a $100,000 value. So the more you print, the less they're worth. That's why the Pro Set Barry Sanders rookie's not worth that much. The score is a little bit more limited. It is. And that's why the 86 Flair basketball, the Jordan rookies, worth so much because it's so hard to find a 10 because their quality control is horrible that you can never find a good centered Jordan card. They're always left or right or up or down. So that to get a perfect one is very, very rare. So that's why it's worth a lot. It's a very, very rare card. But anyway, so that's what's happening with the physical market breaking the monopoly of JP Morgan. And then I heard JP Morgan flew to Switzerland to get in on it. God knows what they really are powerless against Russia and China because they got all the gold. So whatever they want to say, they want gold to go run up. And as soon as it runs, it's in their best interest to run it up because they have it all. Then we'll see what happens if we all have to speak Chinese and Russian. But, that's why you get a Russian girlfriend. She can speak Russian for you. So that's what he's saying. So it's a very exciting day. And like I said, I'm going to run out. Maybe I'll buy 40 ounces of silver. I don't know. Now that I got my pension, I'm like going, well, fuck it. That's what I was worried about, was getting the money in. I'll get the money in every month, basically till I die, I guess. Although I don't know what it'll be worth. That's what's going to be tricky when the dollar goes out. How are they going to revalue the Social Security or the pensions and stuff like that in dollars, or the stocks? This is going to be interesting. But that's why I'm buying more gold and silver, so I won't have to worry about dollars anymore. And then they'll come out with a new one of these that hopefully is backed by gold. You don't really want it in this dollar. You want it in the new dollar, which will be coming out shortly. A lot quicker than we thought, because they thought they had time. But with Russia this was a surprise move by Russia. So with them doing that, it's a real game changer, and that's what's critical. So finally, physical. I will replay it when Bobby gets here because I know he's really looking at silver. He keeps asking, "Oh, when's it going to go up?" And what I analyzed from the guy at the hot tub the other day when I got a little frustrated was that they don't understand gold, or they understand it's price fixed by JP Morgan and it's not going anywhere, so they don't go into gold, figuring, well, it's not JP Morgan's price fixing it, so there's nowhere to go. What they don't understand is here comes Russia and the BRICS countries to get off the monopoly, to create competition, to create a physical market. And that's what's missing. So anybody that kind of knows, well, JP Morgan price fixes, it'll never go. It hasn't gone for 10 years. So what's the difference? And that's exactly what they're thinking is what's happening. So that's really not what's happening. Now it's not a monopoly. It's not price fixed. They brought in new referees who are honest, And it's believe it or not, the Russians, right? So who would have thought the Russians are going to save the price of gold for everybody? So as all the central banks run to gold and all the banks run to gold and the Chinese and the Indians and the Russians and all the other countries run to gold, we sit there and most of the Americans go, well, I'm not going to buy gold because JP Morgan price fixes it. Or they just don't even know that. And they go, well, the price is low. Why would I buy an asset that doesn't move? Well, it moves like fucking rocket, but not when it's price fixed by a JP Morgan, keeping it low with these derivatives that are not what he says in the video later on is that all the banks are now long gold. So nobody's buying these derivatives. And that's why you see the price like 1950 now. It's going to be a joke. I advise if you buy gold, you better buy it soon because it's going to go to 2. It's going to go to, there's no coming down like, oh, it'll be 1700 anymore because there's nobody to buy the derivative down because nobody's going to touch it because they know it's not going down. It's only going to go up. And with this physical market, all the banks that are holding these are peeing in their pants, and that's why they're buying gold too. Do not be in the ETFs. They are not real. When you watch the first part of this video I showed you, the 107, he's in an art gallery, and he's trying to say, look, the paintings, there's a difference between a painting and, real. So there's a picture of a pipe. He says, well, that's just a picture of a pipe. And then he holds a real pipe. This is real gold. That's the ETF. So get out of ETFs if you're in it. The gold stocks will do well, but not right now because all the stocks are going down with this depression that we are entering as they raise interest rates. They're killing the economy. A depression is simply the economy is slowed down or not going positively. And but if you understand what I'm teaching you, all you got to do is buy gold and silver. You don't have to do anything. As I explained, where I was working, the guy has a company and he's buying these little companies. And so he lets me go because they don't know what to do with me. I'm too intelligent. They can't figure, they don't want me to do simple stuff, but they don't know how to have me do more exposure stuff. And, I didn't like it. It was very dirty and everything. So when I leave, I go to the CFO who hired me, who knew my background, who didn't use me. And he goes, well, we got to let you go. We don't know what to do with you. I go, well, it doesn't matter. You'll be out of business in 6 months, which is March. I said, you'll be out with all the inflation and the depression. Companies like you won't stand a chance. The bigger companies will be okay for a while, but not. And you can see Tesla laying off, Amazon laying off, Apple laying off, that. So basically what you have is these small companies are going to go out of business because the big companies who buy from them don't have money to buy for the little crap stuff that they're selling. So I said to the guy, well, why don't you just buy gold and not worry about all this shit? That's what I did. I don't worry about it. I bought as much gold as I can. Although now I can buy more. And then silver, I bought way more than I thought I ever would. I had 37 ounces of Highland Mint, Michael Jordan's, Barry Sanders. And I said, well, I got 37 ounces. That'll be enough. And then as I read more into it and realize how low the value is, only $28 for something that's $2,000. I keep buying 20 here, 20 there. It's $28 an ounce. 560 is nothing. So people are like, well, why do you think it's going to go up? So this is the question I get is, well, JP Morgan's price fixing, it's not going to go up. Why would I buy it? And here it comes, the Russians and the physical and the BRICS countries. That's the kicker. That's how they're competing with the monopoly, who is only dealing in paper derivatives. It's a phony game. It's like Madoff, where Russia is dealing in physical. Okay, if you have a gold coin, this is the value of it, which is what we do and what I tell you to do. Not to sit there and have paper. So you don't want to be in ETFs, and all these derivatives are bank to bank, and it's all just a shell game. It's all bullshit. So that's why I'm going, no, it's going to go up. And now that it's priced in gold, it's going to really go up because gold's really going to go up because all these economies are fucking their dollar over and printing it to zero. That's really what's happening. So quick economics lesson, I'll have to buy more silver. Gold, maybe I'll buy another ounce, but I'm fairly comfortable with the gold I have at where it's going to go. So more silver, if I need 8 ounces of silver to buy an ounce of gold, that I bought 20, I can buy 3 ounces of gold with it. But I got to pay 2,100 for gold, where I can pay, $28 for silver times 10 is 280 times 20 is 560. It's a joke, right? I mean, it's very affordable to do that. So I think that's the better way to go. So now I can relax with the pension, and off I go. And that doesn't include Teaserking, and that doesn't include poker or anything else I do. I want to figure out how to get paid for this at a school or something, because this is so valuable and nobody knows it. So I love teaching it, and I won't charge here, but I want to figure out, I don't know if it's TikTok or somewhere, so I can make money teaching this, because this is worth a lot of money, what I'm teaching you. Anyway, so that's that. So the video is this guy's a banker and an Austrian economist, and he basically knows what's going on. So we trust him. And I think that's it for the gold going up. So football, again, Mahomes, 1.5. Why are we betting Mahomes? Hey, Don. Hi, Don. Play Uncle Hank. Okay. I'll just say, hey, Don. Good morning. So again, Philly 2.5. I think that's an even game. I think it's a dog game, and I think it's an under game. You got two great defenses, which makes it hard to score touchdowns. They'll get a few big plays. They'll be able to kick field goals, but this will not be high scoring. And then KC, Cincy, I just think Cincy's the better team. The fact it's at KC is meaningless. They beat them there last year. Cincy just won in Buffalo. It's not an issue for Cincy to travel. They feel slighted, which I don't know how much that really matters. But if Buffalo played you, it would be neutral. Why are we playing in Kansas City? And then Mahomes and Burrow, I mean, you give the edge to Burrow because Mahomes is injured, and he's not going to be 100% on a high ankle sprain in a week. It's not going to happen. Unless he knows Gandalf and he can do his wizard thing on him, he's not going to be 100%. He's going to limp around. It's got to affect him. They don't have much of a running game anyway, and since you'll put pressure on Mahomes. And the key is Cincinnati is how are they going to stop Burrow? I mean, let's look at the whole picture. Burrow's got the ball. KC does not have that great of a defense. He's going to light him up. And then when Mahomes has the ball, since he's got the strong defense, so everything goes to Cincy. So you got to look at both ends of the ball. What happens in a lot of games is you just go and you look at the one side, and then it's the other side that always wins the game. So, Professor, you would take under Philly. Yeah, I think it's a low-scoring game based on the defenses. I tease, so I'm going to go. I'm going to add a teaser to it, but I mean, look at the defenses. Where are you going to get a lot of points? Look at them against Dallas, Frisco. It was 19-12, 31. I think it'll be very similar to that. They'll get a touchdown. They'll kick some field goals. Philly will get a touchdown. If you think Jalen Hurts is going to go wild, you're out of your mind. Not against this defense. They are faster than Hurst, and they can cover, and so can Philly. So it's a beautiful under game. But that's how you got to play it. So you like Philly. You're a Philly fan, or you like Hurst or whatever. How are you going to score a lot against this Niner defense? And then you got the Niners with, so it's a big balance. You got You've got McCaffrey, you got Samuel, Ayuk, Kittle, Purdy. They're going to score. Not a lot, but they're going to score. And then Philly. But again, you're both going against these strong defenses that you're just not going to get a lot of points. So Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, were you going to score a lot against them? I don't care if you had Joe Montana. They beat Brady. Did Brady light them up? No. Maybe occasionally he'd throw 27. But basically, Brady couldn't light up ball. You can't light up strong defenses. That's right. Who lit up Georgia? Who lit up Iowa? Nobody lights them up. Michigan got 20 on them. But basically, those type of defenses, you just don't light up. You get your first downs, you kick your field goals, and you go, this is going to be a long day scoring points. And then you get more conservative, and then they get more conservative because they don't want to turn it over. So you start playing art of war. What's my strength? My strength is my defense. Therefore, if my strength is my defense, I play to my strength. I don't want to play against it. That's what a lot of teams do. That's what the Lions do. They go for it on fourth down, and it really fucks their defense up because they don't, they lose all the field position. So if you punt it inside the 10, now I play to my defense. Okay, hold them. But if I go for it on fourth down at my own 40 and I don't make it, now I fuck my defense because I put them at my 40 and the other team's all emotional because they just held me. This is why I hate analytics and why most coaches get fired, because they're just too stupid to coach. They don't get it. You never go on fourth down unless it's the end of the game and it's 4th and 2 at the opponent's 40 and you need to score a touchdown and there's a minute left. That is the only time you go for it on fourth down. You either punt them deep and you play field position and you hold them, and then you get the ball back at the 50 and now it's 1st and 10. And you've kind of tired them out a little bit, but you can't give them the emotional edge of they stopped you. Why would you want to give them the ball at the 40? Where's the benefit? You might make it. You probably won't. It's probably not even 40% on 4th and 2. You're going to make it. And then the play calls are always, let's run it up the middle. I'm sure that'll work. It's just phenomenally stupid coaching. The coordinator, he'll be a head coach. Well, no, I want a head coach. I don't want a defensive coordinator as my head coach. I want a head coach. How many defensive coordinators make good coaches? Okay. Bill Walsh, offensive coordinator working under Paul Brown. All right, let's give him credit. And then Bill Parcells, I don't think was a defensive coordinator anywhere, or was college. And then Jimmy Johnson was a coach in Miami. I think he was a defensive coordinator for a year, but then he was offensive coordinator. He was head coach at Miami of Florida, and then Dallas brings him in as a head coach. So that's what you want to bring in, are those type of coaches. But why is a defensive coordinator all of a sudden a head coach? He's not. He's a defensive coordinator. Can he be a head coach? Who knows? Maybe not. You don't know. There's nothing saying he is a good head coach. So that's one of the problems there. Outside of that, I don't know what else. That's what you look at, right? You want somebody knowledgeable, but not somebody that goes with the analytics and just immediately it's fourth down. I'm going to go here. It's let's go for 2 because we're down 20. We're down 14. We should cut it to 7. No, we'll go for 2. What is that? That is by far the stupidest thing I've ever seen, because you're going to miss more than you're going to make. Now you're down 8, and then you miss the 2-point conversion, and now you're fucked. Now you got to go for 2 again that you can't make if you do score again, but you probably won't because you just lost momentum. Anyway. So that's what I like. So I'm picking the Niners 20-17 over Philly, and I'm thinking 31. I've adjusted to 31-20 against KC. I had 31-13. Since he should get 31, they put up, 27 against Buffalo. KC's defense is worse. You had a bit of a snowstorm, which didn't, it does not hurt the offense. It hurts the defense because Chase knows he's going to cut here. slip field. So he cuts. The defensive guy doesn't, and then Chase is wide open. It's always an advantage to the offense. Now, on artificial turf, it's probably easier for the offense. They get a better grip. This is a grass field, so you need your cleats, but that's probably even easier. You can dig in unless it's frozen, but I don't think it's that cold in Kansas City. I know it gets cold there, but anyway, that's what I'm looking at is when Burrow's got the ball, who the fuck's going to stop him? When Mahomes gets the ball, Cincy's defense. So we're really betting Cincy's defense to slow Mahomes down, and his injury is not going to be healed at close to it. So you have all that going for you. So those are the two keys, and we'll go from there. But so that's what I like. Should be a real good game. The first game, figure a fumbled punt or something, dropped a block, something not offensive or defense. And then Cincy KC, it's just too much Joe Burrow. Mahomes got injured at the wrong time, but it can't help him. I don't see Cincinnati losing to KC. I could see them losing to Frisco and Philly because of that defense. Frisco is going to give them a hell of a game if it's Frisco, Cincy, because of that defense. But with Burrow and Chase, it really doesn't matter who their defense is. They could even score on Georgia, I think. So that'll be a great game. Cincy, Philly. If Philly beats Frisco, then that'll be a great game. Philly and Cincinnati. I just don't see KC beating Joe Burrow. I think they're pissed off. The game's not neutral site and everything else that went with it. I think Cincy's like, fuck you, we're going to show you. So that's my picks for the weekend. The free pick is Cincinnati as the dog. Now they're back to getting 1.5. You tease it to 7.5, and you can bet an ounce of gold on that one, baby. That's my bet's is an ounce of gold. That's what you got to look at. The trends. Philly is 15-3 this year, so they're good against the number. So's Frisco. That's why I think it'll be a close game, but Frisco as a road dog is 10-0. Brock Purdy 13-4, and Hurts is I think 16-5 or 17-5. Then you got Cincinnati is 15-0 as a dog, 10-0 as a road dog this year, 15-0 as a dog the last 2 years. 15-3 overall. Play against Kansas City as a home favorite, 8-0, 15-5 over the last 2 years, and play against them as a home favorite, 16-3, and then just you can play them. I think this year is 15-3, and again, Mahomes is 43-12, and Burrow. Well, no, he's 44. He was 44. What the fuck? Mahomes. He was 41-12. I think let's give him 2 touchdowns. So he's probably 43-12. And then Burrow, I know he threw one to Chase. So he's 30. Let's say he's 36-12 touchdowns to interception. So very, very even there. Mahomes throws a little bit more touchdowns. The key's Kelsey there. They don't really have that stud receiver that they normally have, which makes it hard. That's what I got. Let's say. So a lot of countries are de-dollarizing, meaning not getting on the dollar. The U.S. is really becoming just like Russia. I mean, they're like, if you don't do this, we're gonna sanction you. And then they raise interest rates, which is hurting everybody. So they're not doing anybody a favor. So imagine if you had a loan with me for $5,000 and I'm going to charge you 5% interest, and now I raised it to 10%. You're like, Howard, wait a minute, we got the loan at 5. Well, you didn't. It's not fixed. I'm making it 10 because of inflation. 100 a month. Well, let's take it to trillions, which is what most countries owe us, and everything had to go through the dollar. And it was a monopoly, and now they're breaking that, and they're all saying fuck you. We don't want anything to do with the dollar. Saudi Arabia's gotten off of the US dollar now. They'll take one or gold. Everybody realizes gold except for the idiots here who think gold's not good because JP Morgan's been price fixing. And I got a feeling they're exposing JP Morgan. Whoever is backing them is who you're dealing with. So you're not really dealing with JP Morgan. You're dealing with whatever mafia runs JP Morgan. It's the same mafia that ran Madoff and all these others. So that's what you're getting. But Russia must have the blessing of some mafia to say, look, we're going to just do this Russian physical exchange, and we're going to get gold to a physical price, and that's what we're doing. And that's what's happening with them. They're going to this price, and ready or not, here we come. And that's going to get off the paper price of gold into the physical price of gold. This is why you got to own physical gold and silver. So you own the coins, or the bars are fine. And then what's happening now is it's paper, which it's worthless. It's not a real price. So when I say the price of gold is Disneyland, it's Fantasyland, what I mean is it's not backed by the real. They don't have gold when they're doing the transaction to price it. It's just a derivative. It's a paper thing. It's not real. So therefore it's really not what's going to happen. So once it goes to physical, and then you get the real demand by the Russians and Chinese and Indians and Saudis and everybody else, and the Saudis pissed, they're saying, fuck, you want to go electric? Well, we got all this oil. We'll sell it to China. And you know what? We don't need the US dollar. I'm going to start selling my oil to China, and they can pay me in gold or they can pay me in yuan. And then they're coming out as all the currencies are busting in currency backed by gold. That makes gold price go even higher, which now that silver is being priced in gold, silver goes right along with it, and off you go. So that's why I'm so happy about that, because now I'm holding the gold and silver goes way up, which is part of it was to get out of the dollar, because I knew the inflation was coming. And I know inflation is devaluing the money. That's it, not the prices, devaluing this. So once you get rid of that, once you get rid of devaluing the dollar, there's nothing left. They roll out a new dollar, but it's got to be backed by gold, or it's really no different. And then the gold and silver go up because now there's no money. And so it's going to happen. And I think why they're calling the food shortages are Target and Kroger's and stores going to take are they going to take money? Do they want it? So if I'm Kroger and you come in and pay and you want to give me dollars, I'm like, I don't want it. So that might be what's going to happen, where that's why they're saying all these stores aren't going to be in business. They just won't want the dollar. I don't know. They'll come out with the new dollars, what normally happens, like in Germany in the 30s, right? They you needed the wheelbarrow, but then what did they do? They came out with a new mark, and then that settled it down. So you always have a medium of exchange, and it's usually some form of money, but it needs to be backed by something, which is normally gold. I don't know about oil. I mean, it can't. Maybe you can. I've never heard of an oil standard. I've always heard of a gold standard, and with all the gold and silver, that's what you're gonna do it in. So that's my point. They'll more than likely back it by gold. But if you just come out with a dollar and you don't back it by anything, you're fucked anyway. So be careful when they do replace whatever dollar, whatever country you live in or your family. When they replace this crap, it better be in gold, even if it's a digital dollar. And that's not going to be 10 years if they even do it. Right now it's in test. And if we know the government, we know that'll be tested for 20 years. The new dollar they'll come out with better be backed by gold, or it's a piece of crap, and avoid it. Because if it's not backed, think of it as a balloon. If you don't have an anchor, it just goes into the sky and burst. So if it's got an anchor, that's what you want. You need the anchor, which is the gold and or silver or commodities, but usually it's gold and silver to keep the value of the dollar. But once you don't have the anchor, it's gone. And that's what's happening now. There's no anchor, it's gone. It wouldn't have taken this long, but all the manipulation and price fixing by the banks, by the JP Morgan, by the central banks. I mean, fucking Madoff was able to do it and everybody knew it, but that's how crooked the government is. That's why you can't trust the government. That's why you buy gold and silver. You don't have to trust anybody. You just trust yourself that you don't lose it. And Bitcoin is priced in dollars. So when the dollar goes, what's the value of Bitcoin? Nothing. Gold doesn't need the dollar to be valuable, right? Everybody wants it. You're going to walk into Mercedes, here's a half ounce of gold, and you're going to walk out with the car because they know it's money and that's value and that's what they need because they need to turn over their inventory. So things will probably start getting priced in gold and silver once this shit hits the fan as the bailout, right? Well, we don't have money. We don't have gold to back money with gold. Okay, Cheerios is now going to be a tenth of an ounce. A mercury dime will buy you a box of Cheerios or whatever. So you got to buy, you got to break your ounce of silver into, there's mercury dimes, there's quarters and half dollars pre-1964 that were all made in silver. So when you go to the coin shop, you then say, you know what, give me 100 mercury dimes at whatever they're, what is it, 1/10 or 1/20th of the ounce. So if the ounce is $28, what is that, $2.80 or $5? Figure $5 maybe. So you buy a bunch of them just because that's what it's going to be priced in. It's going to be priced in silver, but an ounce of silver is not going to be $28 anymore. So we got to think ahead. So that's where we're at. So the gold and silver is going through the roof. Finally, I know Bobby will be happy with that. And then the dollar is losing its value. So just, you have to understand that right now it's still being supported. You can still go to Kroger's and use it. Keep in mind, you want to get rid of it. And if you trade it for gold and silver, all you're doing is trading it. It's just, you didn't spend a nickel. You spend a nickel when you go on a vacation. You spend a nickel when you go get groceries. You buy a steak, you eat it, you just spend whatever. But when you've traded your money in from this to gold and silver, you haven't spent it. You've actually made a lot of money because this is going to zero and the gold and silver is going up. So silver, let's say, goes to 1,000 an ounce. This isn't going to 1,000 an ounce, and this is going to zero. So you've taken something that's going to zero, replaced it with something that's going to 1,000 that you're paying $28 for. If you need the money, you go back to the coin store with the silver and you go, you know what, I need $200 back. So you're trying to keep a buffer, right? So you're trying to keep money for your bills here, excess money, gold and silver, and that's it. So you have money for your expenses. If you're working, fine. If you do what I did, got Social Security, now I got my expenses paid. I don't even have to do it. And I was thinking about it. I'm going, well, I get like $2,400. I'm like, well, it's like $600 a week. So I'm getting paid $15 an hour. And then I realized, well, no, I'm not. I'm not working and I'm getting $2,400. So it's not $15 an hour, $600 a week. It's no work at all for $2,400, which happens to pay all my bills. So now I don't have to worry about my bills. So now the money I need for bills is going to come in. Now that money all goes to gold and silver. So now I can buy more gold and silver. I'm so excited. I need enough little extra for my girls, and then that's it. And then like a trip, so I'll probably go with the Social Security, and then I'll go with that. So, I worked my ass off since I was 16, and that doesn't include Teaserking because I've been betting football since I was 10, probably. I remember some big weeks in the 70s. I remember betting on Drew Brees, and I remember betting on Mark Herman at Purdue. We had some big the USC Notre Dame game in '73. I had Notre Dame in that. I had USC -6 in that game. I remember that game. That's a loser. Next thing you know, Anthony Davis comes out. It's a winner. So I've been betting for a while. That's always been a nice little income for me. But that's where we're at. So again, you're just trading your money for gold and silver. You cannot lose. If you need the money, you go back and he gets it to. There's always a demand for gold and silver. And then when it really hits the fan, if the U.S. starts giving problems, we go on a jet and go to Switzerland, or we go to Amsterdam. We go to a country, Germany, that will take it without a problem. And off you go. And I bought some different ones, some Cougar Ants, some Maple Leafs, some U.S. So it depends where. And then I buy different. I don't just buy an ounce of gold. I'll buy a half ounce, a quarter ounce, a tenth of an ounce. Because you don't really need the full ounce unless you're going to buy a house and you're going to pay with the gold. You really, okay, I'll keep that, and then I'll take a quarter ounce to then get a good chunk of money, and then I can use that. So then who knows what money is going to be? I'm sure they'll come out with new currency. They have to, because at the end of the day, this is the medium of exchange. This is what's needed to do that. So let me run the video one more time, and let me show the video one more time. So this is the video we want. 107, brand new this morning. I'm about halfway done with it, but it's basically pricing silver and gold. And then instead of playing the whole video, I will play.
On 24, on Thursday, the ratio is just one or more.
Let's play this one more time so people didn't see it in the beginning. For you, Bobby.
The most undervalued of building commodities, which I think nobody ever disputes that. So what's going to happen is silver will be increasingly benchmarked to physical gold grams. This is a huge deal. The resulting de-dollarizing of the largely netted out cash settled LBMA silver fix undermines the so-called professional silver trade, exposing the extremely vulnerable 100-to-1 cash settled market to become physically deliverable, priced in gold grams. Think about that, guys. That is a change in how you price a commodity. This has drawn unwanted attention to the paper-centric gold-silver ratio. Now, people who don't know about it, there is a ratio between gold and silver, and obviously a lot of traders understand what that is. But essentially, what it illustrates is the difference, the leverage in how much silver it takes to buy a gram of gold. And this week, really taking advantage of the thin conditions while China is absent due to the lunar holiday, insiders desperately capping silver and options derivative bets ever closing above 24 on recording this on Wednesday, and tomorrow's on Thursday, and that's options expiry. So what they did was they've been capping 24, desperate to keep this level from closing on Thursday. Now, they managed to walk spot silver almost $1, when in fact a $4 down, to tank $23. I mean, this is ludicrous. It's similar. This is massive Indian silver demand. And what they were doing was simply targeting, old game here, targeting visible CTA long stocks, which they have on their books, at very obvious 50-day moving average. We know that these big moving averages always hold stocks, whether it's on the upside or the downside. They targeted them at any cost. And the CTA long stocks at the 50, of course, we said, you know what, because I think they're going to just be two-way rinse. And sure enough, because it drove the ratio trade, the number of grams or ounces it takes to buy grams or ounce of gold to actionable extremes. So obvious, because you're looking at the way a difference in how silver has been valued in gold grams. Now, the obvious game to test until it flushed all this 50-day moving average, it put silver about 90 cents below the very strong option support. which is around 23.5 to 23.8. Any surprise that we're seeing it gaining around that level now? However, liquidity providers reported that insiders were pushing the ratio trade envelope to extremes as gold rose into these fresh gold highs, which we've seen again and again, day after day. We're seeing fresh gold highs. This indicates it's the momentum CTA specs who are being tricked into taking the short load, and the insiders are 1-to-1 long against it. So while very short term, utilizing momentum led by those specs, the group of Navy short traders may get further wrong footing into options gaming, very short term. Selling silver into a very strong gold market is driving the connected ratio trade to extremes that liquidity providers assess will force commercials to take the long side of silver above 80-1. Well, it's above that right now. In the attempt to keep paper silver from closing above 24 on Thursday, the ratio trade was driven as high as 84-1. I mean, that's ludicrous.
That is ludicrous. Anyway, I just wanted to play that twice. And again, what he's saying is that they're going to price silver and gold, which is great. You can go buy it at 28 an ounce, so it's there. Hey, Greg and John. You don't have to call me, sir. So I was just the good news on silver today. So it's going to be priced in gold, and the Russian physical market is they're out there. So with the huge supply in China, Russia, and India, the price will go skyrocket for gold, and then silver's now priced in gold will go up too. So just now it's kind of more, that's what that video was, and I showed you his other video. So anyway, so that's it. What else? What else we want to talk about? Let's see, Ukraine war. It's who the hell knows what's going on there. But hopefully it ends soon, or they come to some impasse. Hopefully it'll come to some impasse. But anyway, that's what's happening there. So all I can do is wait there. Again, you can't go to the Ukraine. All the airports are down. So like my friend gets on a train 21 hours later, is in Poland, and then she goes to the airport, and we meet from there. You can't get to Russia. They can't get out. So that's a pain in the ass. Europe's still okay to go to. I mean, Lisbon was fine. So if you want to travel there, travel to Vegas. Vegas is crazy because they're so expensive. I don't really want to eat at a Wolfgang Puck's or a Gordon Ramsay. I'm fine going to the deli and getting a hamburger and fries. I don't need that shit. So we have that. Poker, probably go do some of that. I was watching something on YouTube where the guy, if you see somebody do these 10 things, they're a bad poker player. And I'm like, hey, this guy, yeah, Mr. Know-It-All. And then if you understand poker, that people are looking for your tells, all you do is make fake tells. So you find out tell and you go, okay, I'm going to do this instead. Oh, I got a full house. So I'm going to give you I'm bluffing tell. Tell me. And then when I'm bluffing, I'm going to give you my full house tell. And if you're going to read me for what I have, I'm going to give you fake reads because I know you're watching me. So that's really what you try to do, is figure out your tells. So maybe you talk to your buddies and say, well, can you see my tells? Now, I don't know if they'll tell you because they might not want to tell you. They might go, I know your tell, but I'm not going to tell you. But it basically is telling you what kind of hand you have. That's what it means with the tell. Oh, you'd made that move when you had a full house last time, you got a full house, or, oh, I know you're bluffing. And really, you don't need that shit. All you got to do is watch the bet. Somebody makes a big bet, they're more than likely bluffing because they want you to fold if it's too big a bet. So there's that portion of, I want to call, that's the call. But then they sometimes get tricky on you and do an all in, and they really have a hand, and then you go, why did you go all in? Didn't she want me to fold? Like, that happened to me once. I had 3 aces hit the board, and I had a pair, like, I think it was a pair of 8s. And then the other cards were like 2, 3. It was like 3 aces, 2, 3. And I'm figuring, well, does he have the 4 ace? And then on the river, he goes all in. And I'm going, well, if he had 4 aces, he wouldn't go all, he'd want me to call him. Now, I don't know. I think it was like $100 but I think you'd think he'd want me to call. And he obviously I'm not bluffing. So he's like, well, I think you would call with the aces. If I go all in, you're not going to call if I have 4 aces. So he confused me. He ended up going all in, and he had 4 aces. But my 8s, I had a hand, and unless he had kings or queens, I'm figuring how can he have 4 aces and go all in? What kind of idiot does that? And he did it, and I probably called him an idiot, kind of going, but didn't you want me to call you? Like, why would you go all in? So he obviously had to tell that I had a hand that I would probably call it with. And that was kind of his thinking, I would think. But I don't know. I might run down to poker maybe tomorrow. Actually, there's no football on. This is what I hate. There's no Saturday football. And then you got Sunday football. Those would be good games. And then the Super Bowl's 2 weeks away. I always hate that Sunday off. Like, what are we supposed to do that weekend? So you go to YouTube and you watch all these other Super Bowls, which are usually better than that. So anyway, we got a bunch of snow. It was calm yesterday. Everything's plowed. It's cold out. And we're going into February to January 27th. Okay. Football again. I like the under in the 49er Philly game, and I like Cincinnati. Cincinnati's getting 1.5 again. Did they not think Mahomes was playing when the line went to Cincinnati -2? There's no way Mahomes is not playing. There's just he's not going to be healthy. He will be limping around because he's nowhere near 100%. He's probably 60 or 50. You can't recover from a broken bone in your ankle in a week, unless you got magic beans, I guess. There's no way that that's happening. So I like Cincy, and I don't see how they Cincinnati. Basically, that's the key to the bet. You're not stopping Burrow, but Cincinnati's defense just showed you they just killed Josh Allen. That's how good they're playing. And KC gave Trevor Lawrence 20 points. So that's kind of the gist of the bet. What else? Anybody? Any questions? Kind of what are we talking about? Women, poker, gold and silver. We talked about economics. We talked a lot about monopolies yesterday. So this is how you break a monopoly. You can monopoly a high price, but even then you've got to worry about, can there be competition? Normally with utilities, it's so expensive to start a power plant. That's why there's no competition. It's too expensive to get in. The monopoly on the gold price doesn't really make sense because you're keeping the price low. I can come in with a higher price, and is what it's doing. So leave it to the Russians to break the JP Morgan power over that. But that's what I keep like getting frustrated is they keep calling it paper gold as if it's physical, and they're not capsulating there's paper and there's physical, and the paper is absolutely worthless. And the physical is when you actually hold the gold. So I just can't understand what the fuck they're doing. It just, and then people assume that JP Morgan will always keep the price. Like there's no stopping them. And for 1,000 years, they'll keep the price low. And it's been 50, but that's it. It's run out of steam. And so it's blowing up. And now after 50 years of suppression, what do you think gold's going to be at? And it ain't 35 to 1900. It's 35 to 30, 40,000 at least before the dollar goes out, because that's going to kill the dollar. you already have all these countries getting out of the dollar, or it's called de-dollarizing, where they don't like the dollar and they're saying, fuck it, we're coming out with our own currency because they're going to sanction us. They're raising interest rates. So we're leaving the party, right? We're going to do our own. They gotta back it by gold, and not everybody can because Russia and China got most of the gold, and India, so they can do dollars backed by gold. But I was showing you Brazil and Argentina. If they don't have any gold, they can't come out with gold backed dollars. And who's going to want their dollars? So they're trying to do a South American dollar like the BRICS countries are doing. Even though they're in the BRICS, they want a South America BRICS. I wouldn't trust Argentina, Brazil, Venezuela, any of those. They're all Russian run. I wouldn't trust them. You can't trust any dollar that's not backed by gold. It'll blow up. It has since the beginning of time. Even it got the Russians, when the Russians got rid of all their gold and had their coins not backed by gold, they went out. And every country that's been a superpower, Spain, Amsterdam, France, and England, all went out when they inflated their money. There's something about, you have the gold, you're number one, but then you've got to start doing wars. And it's expense. War is an expense. It's not, you're not getting any revenue from war. You're just spending money, and you got guys, and you got to feed them, and you got, how many guys, and then you got weapons. So you got to buy guns and rifles and missiles and tanks and planes. And then you need gas for it all, and you need ammunition for it all. So it's a very expensive business to get into. So you got to be kidding me to get, so we have all the money. Why are you going to war? What are you, crazy? I mean, because you can't afford it, and there's no revenue from it. So unless you're peacekeeping, like how much is the U.S. getting paid to be in the Ukraine to help Russia? We're giving them money and we're giving them weapons. So okay, we're not that nice. So where's the kick? Where do we get revenue back for it? And that's really what's happening. So that's what I see there. So economics is basically, you want competition. You don't want monopolies. JP Morgan can't handle competition. I guess he's a bad businessman because he's always wanted the monopoly fix. Don't listen to Warren Buffett. He's freaking clueless. He's rich, but not because he's smart. He scammed everybody with insurance, and now, so he got all this money with insurance. Well, look at car insurance. It's the one insurance you never use. Oh, I won't call my insurance. We'll just, any fender. So I pay my premium, and if I do make a claim, it goes up. What kind of scam is insurance? So Buffett does that. So he makes all this money, and then he doesn't play stocks. He'll buy, 30% of Disney or 40% of Coke, or, so he buys the company. He's not playing stocks the way you normally play stocks. So as Coke goes up, he makes money. As Disney goes up, he makes money. So he's he has really know how to really play stocks. He's just got enough money. He can buy a certain percent of Coca-Cola. Going, oh, Coca-Cola does well. I'll buy what do I need for 30% of the company? And then he goes and buys it. Well, he's not buying and selling and buying and selling. He's just buying, and then they're running it. So he's just piggybacking off of what they're doing. Me and you can't buy 30% of Coke, so we buy 100 or whatever, and then watch it go up and down, going, this sucks. And that's why we can't make money, but he can. But he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what inflation is. He thinks it's prices. And he's holding a bunch of money, and he's going to get fucked, because if I was Warren Buffett and I had $2 billion in cash, I would have bought gold and silver, $2 billion worth. I would have put it all in gold and silver, because we know what's going to happen to gold and silver. So he thinks, again, that JP Morgan price fixes it, so it's not a good investment. So he's in cash. He's going to buy stocks, wait till the money goes to zero and the stocks go to zero, and he's broke because he didn't buy gold and silver, because he doesn't understand that JP Morgan doesn't have the monopoly anymore. The Russians are coming, and the Russians are doing that. So doesn't understand economics. which is critical. It's probably the most important subject to understand is Austrian economics, because that's the key to everything. That's the key to women, poker, anything you want, football. It's all economics, as I've proven in a lot of my dissertations, is that, let's look at San Francisco, Philadelphia. Where's the monopoly? There isn't one. Both teams strong defense, competition, and I feel it'll be a close game. And I'm going to either take the Niners or I think it's an under because of the defenses. So you read the game as you read economics, right? So that's what you're looking for. And then you take your money and buy gold and silver because that can't stay down, even though J.P. Morgan wants to keep it down. It's a reverse monopoly. Most monopolies, so this would be a monopoly. Be Canadian Club's the only whiskey on the market, and I'm going to sell it for $1,000 a bottle. But since there's competition, I can only sell it for $50. What J.P. Morgan's trying to do is a monopoly to keep the price down, but there's so much of it out there that everybody's buying it. Now they become the head, and now they go, no, we want it up here, and you can't keep it down because your game is not a monopoly. It's a paper monopoly, not a physical one. So you don't even know what the fuck you're doing. You're selling stock or derivatives options. You don't have any gold. You can't do that. So people are fooled into thinking that's the price. But then here comes the countries that own it are all like, no, we're breaking the monopoly. We're making a physical market, and now the price is going to go up here. Fuck you, J.P. Morgan. And that's what Warren Buffett doesn't understand, or a lot of the rich guys don't get it, and that's what I get. And that's why I'm saying to buy it. But most people, when I tell it to, go, well, either they don't understand it or they think J.P. Morgan is going to keep the price down, so therefore they never want it to go up. They'll just keep the price down, and they go from there. So it becomes a very strange dichotomy of people trying to do that. So with that said, what else? Not getting a lot of comments, so I got to just wing it. Let's see. So I got to go watch the rest of this gold thing, but he's the only guy I really trust, him and the other guy, Alistair McLeod, who are very good at, they get it, and they're English, where the U.S. guys are just clueless. They have no clue, and most of the U.S. portfolio managers are young guys in their, let's say, 20s and 30s who have never seen a market crash or 1929 or even 1980s. They just think stocks are the place they just keep going up. They don't even realize it's because the central bank's printing money and putting it in is why it goes up. So they don't even have a clue. So they'll say buy stocks. So you can't listen to your financial planner. You just got to understand gold and silver are the real money, and it's coming to that. They're going through the, and your real money, and this is going to zero. So that's what you got to understand. And that's from economics. This is going to zero because it's not backed by anything. And if you keep printing it, it loses value. And if nobody wants it, if it's the fat, ugly woman in the bar and nobody wants it, it has no value. It only has value if there's demand for it. So you don't have a lot of value in it. So with that, why do you want to hold it in the first place? So you want to get out of that, which is what you're basically doing. So you're getting out of the dollar, and then what do I go into? And gold and silver are money and an asset, and way, way undervalued, as he said, especially silver. So there's a lot going on there. That's what you're trying to do is really you're trying to protect yourself, but then the kicker, because it's been held down so much, you're actually going to make a ton of money on the upswing because it's really not 2,000 an ounce. Gold's really 50, right? But everybody won't believe you. They're going, well, how can it be 50? I mean, it's 2,000. The most it's in is 21. Yeah, that's derivative gold, but we're talking physical. And it's like, are these people really that stupid that they don't know the difference between paper and physical? Really? This is what you don't get? So anyway, that's the problem. They don't understand it. And therefore, they can't do anything about it. So That's what happens. So you're protecting yourself with gold and silver. And now that there's the physical exchange in Russia, that will knock the price up. And Russia, China's got all the gold. India's coming in, that they want the price to go up. And the U.S. is clueless, man. They don't have it. I think they think JP Morgan will keep the price down. So we'll just keep in dollars. We don't want gold because JP Morgan runs everything. So therefore they can't fuck with JP Morgan. He says, I'm going to keep the price down, which doesn't make any sense. You would do a reverse monopoly. You would want the price to go up if you had gold. There's no reason to keep the price of anything down. If you own it, you certainly want it to go up. And if you don't own it, so I guess their reasoning is you'll stay in dollars because you won't go to gold and do anything until you blow up the dollars. That would make sense. But now that you've blown up the dollars, keeping the price of gold down makes no sense. And I know they were making money with these derivatives. I don't know how much. I mean, they're making big money. I don't know how. It's like, I'll buy the derivative and I'll sell it to you and you buy it. And then I make whatever the derivative. I know it was illegal, whatever they're doing. They should all end up in jail if they weren't running the things. But what they do is illegal. And it's just if you did an option, you'd probably lose on it because it would be out of the money. You wouldn't be able to cash it. But what they do is they sell the derivative and then somebody else then they have a buyer. So it's like stealing diamonds, and then you have a fence that will buy it from you. So therefore you'll steal it. And that's kind of what they're doing, is they're doing these fake derivatives and then somebody buys them and they split the money or something. It's all illegal. It's all disgusting. But this is the problem when you have a fixed government and no laws. These people will do these illegal things, and nobody's gonna. All they do is slap their hands. Oh, all right, you pay a fine. Pay a fine. It's like the U.S. We won't go to war with you. We'll sanction you. Well, what good does that mean? Sanction? What do you mean you're sanctioning me? Go to war. Why isn't the U.S. at war with Russia right now? Why are we sanctioning them? Like, that's all that does is hurt the people who live there. So if Russia sanctioned the U.S., if the roles were reversed, it wouldn't hurt the government because they just keep printing money. It hurts us because now we can't buy the goods and services that we need to buy. Our dollar gets hurt. So we're the ones getting hurt if the tables return, or if we lived in Russia, we'd be the one getting hurt, right? Us in Russia. Coca-Cola got out. I can't use credit cards or debit cards there. I can't use my cash there. I can't send PayPal there. So the people are the one getting hurt, not Putin's not getting hurt. Russia isn't getting hurt. They replaced Coke with some Ivan Putski Coke, and McDonald's is now fake McDonald's. It's a red M, but it's not McDonald's. It's McDougal's or whatever they're calling it. But it's just funny as hell. And they have the grocery store that just sells Russian goods, so they're not as good as U.S. But this is the problem. So they're really fucking the people. They're not really hurting Putin, which to me is the intent. If you're going to war with Putin, you want to hurt Putin, not the rest. So anyway, hopefully the war ends soon. I don't know. It's so fucked up. I know they're leaving Crimea. A lot of the places Russia is in the Ukraine, they're being pushed out. And then they started missiling Moscow and St. Petersburg. So I got a little nervous with St. Petersburg, but because my friend lives there, so I'm hoping she's okay. She texted me today, finally. I was worried. I went 3 days, and she says, well, I was at work, and they don't let me text at work. And you're like, now you got to keep in mind, working in Russia is not like working here. We text from our desk, right? Oh, how you doing? Yeah, I'm working, but And so she said the boss will fire her if she can only text her daughter. She can't text me. But she doesn't, like when she gets home, she doesn't text me. She just goes to sleep or whatever. Because they work like 12-hour days there. It's like 6 to 6 or 8 to 8 or something. That's the Russian work life. It is not 40 hours, and they do usually 5 or 6 days a week. So it's really bad, and they don't make any money. So it's not a good place to work. It's not a good place to live. So you got to be careful with that. So anyway, That's what the sanctions are, but why aren't we at war? So anyway, it all comes down to economics. If you have gold, nobody can fuck with you because nobody owns it but you. When I go, and I'm going to go to the store soon, when I go buy my silver, I own it. Nobody can take it from me. Nobody can inflate it. So that's the problem, right? This dollar is not worth the dollar anymore. It's worth 5 cents. My gold, you cannot touch it. Now, JP Morgan can COMEX it, but that's not real. Once we get to real, now you can't fuck with it. It is what it is. The only inflation ever recorded was like 1500s. I think it was Spain, and they found a bunch of gold. So that then led to higher supply, and that, but it was just in Spain. Now it's worldwide. Even if they found it, you got gold mines. It doesn't affect the price. The price isn't down because they found more, and it's inflated. You really, the amount that they dig up is not enough to inflate it, and the demand will more than make up for it. So silver, there's plenty of, but it's running out too. But it shouldn't be at this price. Anyway, that's what you have. But mostly it's about, you want competition, you want real laws. You don't want JP Morgan's trying to make monopolies, price fixing things. They're just a black eye to America, and they all should be put in jail, as this Fink guy at BlackRock should be put in jail. But again, when you run the politics and you run the judges and you own them, you can do whatever you want because there's no penalty for it, right? That's why JP Morgan gets fined but never goes to jail, because they you know, oh, you did something wrong, we're going to fine you, not throw you in jail. So they keep doing it because there's no incentive to stop them, unfortunately, which is terrible. And it costs a lot of people. A lot of people were buying silver, and then it was $5 an ounce, and nobody could really understand this. This is the beauty of the internet; it exposes a lot. So now we know what's happening, and now we'll just, I'm off to the silver. I'm off to buy 20 more ounces of silver soon. That's about it. We've hit the football, we've hit the poker. The girls, you got to create that they think the boyfriend's a monopoly, right? So they're with the guy, and half of them, I believe they're mostly dishonest, and they don't, like, you walk up to them and ask them out. Well, I have a boyfriend. You won't even ask them out. You just say, you with anybody? Yeah, I have a boyfriend. I doubt they do, but let's say they do. They're that stupid to prejudge you and not, look at the competition. Even if you have a boyfriend, I'm competing with him. Maybe you like me better. Maybe you like him better. You don't know. You stick with the monopoly of this guy likes me. So I'm so insecure I can't talk to two guys. I mean, this is how stupid it is. I sit there and talk to 20 women. I don't care because I'm competing. I'm seeing how competitive it is. And who do I want to be with? I can't go to meet one girl and say, oh, she's the one, and then wonder why you get divorced. But if you meet a lot of girls or vice versa, just to meet them, I'm not saying do anything wrong. Just meet them and get to know them, and then you can choose. It's like restaurants. You go to 20 different restaurants. You go, okay, I like this one better. So that's what it all comes back to economics. Girls want to be safe, and they want guys who have money, and they're too insecure to talk to another guy. They're worried that if I talk to you, my boyfriend will leave me, and then I'll be alone. This is the depth of the women thought. Instead of going, well, I can leave him for him. Nothing wrong with that. That's smart. No, I don't want to be smart. They just want to do that. So that's what they are. And they're, oh, I got a boyfriend. And I'm like, good. You don't get life, do you? You don't understand competition. So it's really sad that, again, if they knew economics, they would understand that competition, and they'd be more apt to not use that excuse, I have a boyfriend, if it's even real, which I doubt half the time. They're just, they're too immature psychologically to talk to you. I mean, I find that very hard to, women have a very hard time talking, at least to me. Now I don't know why, but they just they quiet up. They just can't do it. They don't know how to talk. They're just too insecure. Anyway, another subject for another day. But that's why it's so hard to date. It's hey Nick, just got my Burrow card last night. So that was the $700 100 count. That's good. And it's not PSA 10. So are you going to crack it open and you going to crack it open and then get it regraded, or what are you going to do with it? So let me show you what we've been working on. So you need to watch this one. The price of silver is in gold, and that's a very key thing because now the price of silver is going to go to the roof. So go buy more silver. Wasn't that one? Can I email it to you? Sure, go ahead. But that's what you want to do, Nick. If it now is this graded or not? Well, I guess I'll see. But we will see. Anyway, KC's back to a 1.5 point favorite. So we're back where we started from, where we have Cincinnati and 7.5 already. I don't see, if you want, just play it again. You basically got the same Frisco Philly line, and now we got KC 1.5 again. And I can't figure out why that line moved Cincinnati -2 to KC -2. You knew Mahomes is playing. You know he's going to be 50%. It's not like he's 100%, so it's really strange. Sorry, feed is breaking up. I'll send it to you when connection clears so I can hear you better. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I noticed when I tried logging in, it was very slow. And even on the TV, I'll watch YouTube, I'll watch the guy, and it's very slow. So maybe that's why I'm not getting the people. Because I know it's telling me it's breaking up and I'm losing connection and it's coming back. So this might be the cyber attack from Russia, where they're, going to blast everybody. Anyway, it's going to get ugly. I think it gets ugly right after the Super Bowl. I think that's when it happened. I think it's like the war started the day after the Olympics because the Olympics were in China. And that's when Russia invaded the Ukraine. They waited for the Olympics then. And I think they're going to wait till the Super Bowl. And once the Super Bowl goes, then you're going to start seeing some weird shit with the money and the gold and the silver and everything else. So we're just planning ahead. So I'm off to the silver thing. Where's Bob already? He keeps not showing up to class. It's going to cost him another 10 ounces. Hopefully he's buying another 20 ounces of silver today. Definitely you need to buy it like right away because silver is not going to stay at 24 an ounce and you can get it for 28. It is not staying there. Not at all. Okay, I'll check my email. So buy your silver now. You don't have time. You really don't. It's really not going to stay. And I showed the gold price today. Yeah, that's the silver price. So you got to love the 10 o'clock gold price drop. Look at that drop at 10 o'clock. Unbelievable. It was 1934, goes down to 1920 for no reason. Nobody's selling, and now it's back up to 1931. So look how you do it. You wait for that dip at 10:15. It starts going up. You jump in, and you made $10 by doing nothing, just waiting for this 10 o'clock bar to drop, and then wait until it starts going. So you lose $1. It's well worth it. And then as it goes, you start making money. So let's see what Nick sent me. The Burrow card. Oh, it's a pretty card. Autograph. It's a Oh, it's an autograph card. Autograph 9, mint 9. And let's see. Great. So I don't know what you paid for it. Maybe that's in your email. Yeah, see, that's tough because it's a 9. You really, well, we'll see. I keep getting these things from Best Buy. So somebody requested money on my PayPal. Who did that? Boy, I'm getting a lot of bullshit PayPal. This guy, so here's a scam. This guy, Jerry French, access to purchase a Samsung 43-inch class 4K smart TV for $460. If you do not make this transaction, please call us. And this actually is from PayPal.com. So now I got to go into PayPal and see if there's actually a charge on it. But you got to be careful for these scams. And I got to change my my password. So let's see if I need to call them or not. So we'll log into my account. Page 0, use my casino winnings. Well, even better. So going into PayPal, go to our dashboard. And again, I see recent activity. I just see my girlfriend in Russia. That's all I see. So again, it's a fraud email. It scares you. And, but it's not, there is no activity of this amount going. So as far as I'm concerned, it's just bullshit. So what you got to look out is, now it's weird because it does say paypal.com on the email. Usually that's the giveaway. So this is weird that service at PayPal, he canceled a money request. Oh, I'll be charged $460 within 2 hours of receiving this email. Transaction will reflect on my PayPal after 24. Oh, okay. So I have to. So this is actually, I think, from PayPal. So if I call, it's an 888 number. So I'll give it a call and see if it's PayPal. And then wondering how they're going to charge me. So I probably have to change my email. So this is something I have to look at and then see, but I really hate calling these scams because you don't know what it is. So it's a nice card, Nick, but it's a 9. So I don't know. Well, you didn't with your casino winnings, but you still could have bought something else with your casino winnings. So if he wins, it will go up a lot, even if it's a 9. Well, but 9s don't go up like 10s. It's a nice card. It's an autograph card. Yeah, I mean, let me take care of this PayPal. You got the games. It's the Niners and the Niners Phillies under, and then Cincinnati is the free pick. All right, everybody, have a good day. I will see you tomorrow. I want to check this shit out. Yeah, but you really want to buy 10s, Nick. You don't really want to buy 9s because, as I showed you, the PSA 10 goes up a lot higher than the 9s because that's more the demand. So just be careful. But what was the 10 for this? So if the 10 is 6,000, then that's about right. But that's what you got to see is the 10. But, you know, it's a good autograph card. I would recommend buying them at the shows where you can get them really cheap and then get them graded as opposed to 9s. So 1,500. Hopefully you didn't pay too much for it. I would say about 300, 400. If a 10's only 1.5. Now, if you're banking it on him winning the Super Bowl, I would almost wait till let him win the Super Bowl first because he's got to go through Frisco or Philly to do it, and that's not an easy task. So I would wait till the Super Bowl is over before I start buying it. But anyway, let me see what this crap's about, and I'll let you know. All right, everybody, have a great day. www.teaserking.com. Buy your gold and silver now. Silver is going to go through the roof. It's now associated with gold in Russia, and it's moving very, very soon. All right, everybody, have a great day. Good luck on it. Thank you.